hosts. Good morning, everybody. Today, for me, it's a Sunday morning, bright and early, and I don't know what we've done to deserve this, but we've had 2 beautiful days in a row. Okay, we're actually able to go outside yesterday and get a little sun, and today's supposed to be even warmer. So, hopefully that's an indication of brighter days ahead, brighter days to come, and hopefully you got a chance to get out and enjoy the weekend, taking some sun, breathing some fresh air. Okay, today we're going to do one of my favorite things, okay, sparring skills. We're going to work on basic sparring techniques, combinations, and strategies. Now, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people love sparring, but a lot of people don't. And I think a lot of the reasons they don't is because of not really knowing the proper skills, and also being afraid of being hurt, or, surprisingly even more so, people are afraid of hurting other people. But the way we teach sparring in our dojo is always with safety in mind, always trying to work with a partner that you feel comfortable with so that you can build up your confidence and build up your strength and also build up your skill level. You don't always get the ideal partner because in reality, if you ever had to use these skills for life, it certainly wouldn't be somebody that you like that would be attacking you. But the idea is to develop the confidence and to develop the knowledge of how to use your sparring techniques. Also, practicing over and over again makes things come a little bit more natural, and you want to be able to react. The nice part about sparring, of all the things that we do in the dojo, it's the one thing that's unpredictable. That's why we call it free sparring. You don't really know what your partner is going to do, so you have to be able to react and adjust. And also what you're trying to do in a sparring situation is control the situation. To be honest with you, you taking first action is better than waiting to see what your opponent is going to do. So a lot of things go into sparring, reacting, acting first, learning proper stance, being instinctively in good position to do techniques. So we're going to work on that today. How to use your hands, how to use your feet, balance, distance, timing, proper procedures of using hands and feet together. So let's have fun with this and give it a shot. And this isn't specifically going to be a workout tape, but we're going to be doing several different skills, and I want you to look at these and try to practice these at home. All right, starting off with hands. We talk about the big 3 all the time, which is having your feet apart, your knees bent, and your hands up. Okay, if your knees are bent, okay, you're lower to the ground, you have better balance. Likewise, if your feet are apart, okay, you're more solid, and also you can react better and deliver more power with your punches and your kicks. And needless to say, your hands are up. Okay, in the old Kyokushin style, it was protect your head, okay, and kind of let your body take what's going to come. All right, now that takes some conditioning to do that. But certainly, if you have a choice of getting hit in the chest or hitting the head, you would take the chest. So you always want to keep your hands up and also keep them ready. So one hand should always be up for defense. And as you're punching or throwing kicks, okay, the other hand should always be ready for what the next technique is going to be. In a basic jab cross, when I jab, you see my right hand pulls back, but it's ready to come right in with the cross. Okay, I jab, I keep his hand up on my head to protect, and then I'm right in position to throw the cross. Jab, and then the hand comes right in. I never just jab and drop this hand down, okay, for the cross. It's here and right in. Here, rotate, and this does 2 things. It gives me power by twisting my body into the punch, and now, without it having to chamber this back, I'm already set to punch. Okay, not like in the old John Wayne movies where they would come back like this, and actually that's a cool thing to do. If you watch some of those old cowboy movies or detective movies, watch how they punch. They bring it way back here, you got time to go out and get a coffee and read a paper, and then the punch comes. Okay, but to be honest with you, in a lot of fights in the street, a lot of people do throw those big haymakers. Okay, they cock it back and throw it. You want to learn how to be set off the first punch and come right in on the second. Now, if I'm throwing a different punch, like say maybe a hook punch, I will set my hand down here and then come in with the hook. All right, so you watch. Now, instead of doing this, I'm throwing a punch, this hand drops as I'm punching, and then I'm in position to come right around with the hook punch. So I go straight in, this hand drops a little bit, and then comes in with the hook. All right, I drop, come in, and then in again. So drops down, comes in, here, good. So that's a good practice for you to do. Just real basic concept. Make this instinctive. That the other hand sets, okay, for the next technique coming in. Off of kicking, it's very important that you keep one hand up because you're most vulnerable when you're throwing kicks. Okay, if you're punching, your hands are kind of always in here, but lots of times when people throw kicks, the hands just drop down and they're all over the place. Basic rule is when you throw a kick, the back hand stays up and the hand on the side of the kicking leg drops down for counterbalance and also protection on the other side. If I'm throwing a front kick, this hand will drop off to the side a little bit. If I throw a roundhouse kick, this hand will come behind me this way, and I have balance and protection on either side. So this hand will stay up, this one will drop behind. It also gives me a counterbalance, like I said, to kind of torque into the kick a little bit, as well as defend myself. Okay, so we know we don't want to keep the hands up, and we know we always want to be prepared with the offhand. Now we got to work on distance, height, and direction when we're throwing techniques. Because if you're sparring and you just keep punching the person, okay, in the same spot up by the chest all the time, or if you keep throwing your kicks to the front all the time, middle area, then your opponent or your partner can read you pretty well. But part of the strategy in sparring is to change the direction, change the height, okay, and also change the distance. So for example, if I'm throwing a punch, okay, I'm going to change both the height and the direction. If I'm throwing a front hand jab, okay, and then I'm going to come out to the side to throw a hook, okay, or maybe I'm throwing several punches high to someone's chest, punch, 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 then I'll drop out, change direction, and then come in with a hook punch to the body. So I'm punching high to try to get their hands up, and then I move down and come in with the hook punch to the body. So they're thinking up here, up here, up here, and then all of a sudden you move to the side, okay, and catch them in the ribs. So I'm punching high, and step out, and then throw the hook punch. Again, punching to the body, okay, step out, and come in, right? Punch, 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 here, here, and down. Okay, you can also work just a straight punch. Punching straight here, drop down, and come in with punch. Ideally, you always want to keep your punches straight, and a lot of people don't do this, but it's a good strategy. One of the reasons they don't do it, because it's hard to bend your legs and use your legs a lot. You get tired. But if I'm punching high to the chest, drop down, and then come straight in with a low punch just above the belt, okay, lots of times a person is wide open with that. Because again, they're protecting up here. So I'm punching here, punch high, drop down, and then come straight in to the stomach. And that's a good practice. You can do a lot of repetitions of here, dropping down, and punching. And it's good because it works your legs, okay? And you get that difference of height. Okay, and a lot of people don't work that. Everybody punches straight in. You want to work high, you want to work middle, you want to work to the side. Okay, and also distance, all right? Now, usually, if you're close enough to hit your partner when you're sparring, and lots of times we get in close, and we're this close to each other, and we're not doing anything. Well, in a real fight, if you were that close to someone, you'd be punching already. So normally in sparring, we start away from each other and we have to move in. We have to close the distance. So it's very important, again, the big three, hands up, feet apart, knees bent, that you kind of slide in, and when you're ready to move, that front foot slides in. And if it's a jab, obviously the front hand. And then if you hit them back a little bit, you may have to slide in again. If they're pretty strong and they can handle your punch, right, you stay there and just come in. But if they stay there, this punch is going to be a little bit shorter. So you have to adjust. So I might reach out with this hand, they don't move, and maybe this hand will come in a little bit shorter. So I'm moving around, okay? I slide in with that front foot, and ideally, as I slide in, that hand should be coming in at the same time. Because the minute I move in, what's their reaction going to be? They're either going to move back or they're going to protect. So this almost has to come at the same time, and then ideally, I'll change height, okay, and then come in with that reverse punch. So I'm moving around, and remember, when you're moving in sparring, the directional foot moves first, okay? I don't want to slide the back foot up, okay? A lot of people do that. They come up and slide that foot, which means the minute I show this movement, okay, I haven't moved any closer, but now my opponent is ready. So that first movement has to bring me right away to my opponent, okay? In addition to that, lots of times when we spar, and this kills me. I know the seniors do the same thing. People just walk around, okay? Frankenstein was on, actually, Son of Frankenstein was on last night, okay? And remind me of the way people move sometimes, okay? You have to be loose and always keeping those feet apart. You just can't walk around, okay? I've never seen a fight when somebody just kind of walks around like that and is ready to engage, okay, in combat. You have to have your feet always ready, okay, to do that. So distance, bringing it in, okay, height, dropping down, and also direction, moving out to the side. Okay, so let's put kicks into the mix, all right? We naturally, karate, cool things about karate is we can use our legs, okay, kicking. Basic rule in combining hands and feet is whichever hand I'm punching with, generally that leg follows, okay? So if I'm punching with the back hand, if you notice I'm leaning in on that punch, it puts me in position to just come in and kick with that leg. If I try to kick with the front leg, I have to change directions and then throw the kick. So it's a basic concept and a basic strategy. The way your body turns should lead you into the next technique. Just like the punch hook, okay, when I go like this, my body turns back to set up for the hook. If I come in with my back hand, okay, the back leg is set up. Likewise, the other way around. If I'm throwing the front hand, I'm putting the weight towards my back leg, and it frees up the front leg. All right, so let's say I'm throwing a cross first, then a jab or a lunge punch. I'm leaning away, and then I throw that kick. So that's a good practice to really kind of exaggerate the body motion, the body flow. Front hand, okay, back leg, back hand, front leg, okay? So you move in, throw that back hand, and then maybe a roundhouse. And notice again, this hand stays up the whole time. I punch, stays up, this hand will drop, this one will stay up, and I'm still in a good, ready defensive position. Now, normally when we practice on the bag doesn't move, obviously, unless you have a haunted bag, right? But partners is different. Okay, you got all kinds of movement. Sometimes they stay there, sometimes they move back. If I throw the punch and my partner backs up, then I'm in good position to fire out that front kick. Lots of times, especially when we engage, we're in here sparring with our partner, we're in close in sparring range, we're too close to kick, or so we think. Two strategies, or actually two techniques on kicking in close, and actually kicking in close is almost more effective than kicking further away. And I'm going to do this on an angle a little bit here. What happens normally when we throw kicks, all right, especially front kicks, we lift this knee way up in the front, and oftentimes, and you guys have probably experienced this, you both kick at the same time and you bang knees. Well, my answer to that is you're not kicking correctly in that instance. Instead of bringing your knee straight up, okay, you watch my posture. I kind of hunch it in a little bit this way. So look how much closer my knee is to my belt as opposed to when I do this and swing it way out. And what that enables me to do is keep the kick in tight and just snap it out close. So even though I'm in arm's range, my kick can stay in close and get them low. And better yet, if I'm punching high towards the chest, they're up here, blocking here, boom, that opens up the stomach. So not only now are we working distance and understanding distance, we're changing levels, okay? I'm coming in high, up here, punching high, and then boom, snap that kick in low to the stomach, which is left unguarded, okay? And down here, usually pretty vulnerable target. Unless the person's doing a lot of leg lifts and got lower abs, usually everybody's lower abs are not as strong as their upper abs. So again, in tight, it's almost like you hunch up a little bit instead of swinging. Hunch in and pop the kick in. Hunch in and pop the kick in. Side kick actually works even better. So what happens normally if we're working to the side, okay, and again, I'd be throwing this off of my front hand. So let's say I'm throwing punches, again, high, punch, punch, punch. Most people lift your leg up like this. And what happens is your leg gets blocked on the way up this way. What I want to do, assume my opponent is right here. I punch, punch, punch. I actually cock my knee away and pull it in front of my belt. All right, so he's right here. I'm punching, working some punches. Again, hands are up. I bring that knee in and throw the kick, again, low to the lower abdomen, or if he's sideways, to the rib, which is even better for me, because that hurts more, okay? So, let's say I'm going to do 3 punches. Punch, punch, and again, watch how I turn. Punch, punch. I turn sideways, actually pull away, and then throw the kick in. And in reality, sometimes, the act of pulling away this way makes him think I'm kind of retreating. So he might come in on me, and guess what? He meets with a little surprise. He meets with that front leg side kick. So I'm punching, 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 twisting, lean away a little bit, and throw that side kick in. So the strategy of kicking off of hands is, again, pulling the knee in tight. The most common close kicks, and probably most effective, again, are that front kick in tight or that side kick in tight. So you may feel, well, I don't have as much power, I can't really explode. You don't have to. Think about it. It's the vulnerability of your opponent. I can throw this technique half as hard if my opponent doesn't expect it and his hands are up and he's not looking for it, okay? If someone stands like this, and even if you punch him square in the face, they may go back. But if you're like this looking around, boom, and you get sucker punched, it only has to be half as hard. So the timing, the distance, and of course the area, the direction that you're hitting is very important. It's oftentimes not just about power, okay, and strength. Again, it's strategy and the timing and distance. All right, now I've got a couple kicking combinations, some of your basic kicking combinations. And again, what we're using is a change in direction and a change in height. All right, one of the most common is the fake front kick into a roundhouse. Now, you're not really throwing a full-out front kick, because what will happen is if you throw that full-out front kick, and actually if you hit them, they may back up and be out of range. But you're just getting them to look at the knee coming up. To be honest, almost all you have to do is lift the knee up to the front, and then the hands go down. And what you do is, as the hands go down, you change it into a roundhouse kick. So you don't necessarily have to throw the whole front kick, but it's almost like a kingeti, a groin kick. You just flip your foot up, and then immediately turn the kick into a roundhouse kick. So they're protecting here, and it leaves the legs, the ribs, okay, the head open. It's a quick flip, okay, just enough to get the knee up, and then come around to the side. Okay, especially it works if you've been throwing a lot of front kicks. Okay, it's kind of a separate category, but faking and feinting, right? You set somebody up. If I'm moving around sparring, and I'm throwing, 4, 5, 6 front kicks in a row, and then I change it, they get lulled into blocking the front kick, and whoa, the roundhouse comes totally unexpected. So you set it up, It's the same thing like punching high, and then set it up for a middle hook punch. So that fake front kick into a roundhouse, real basic combination. Okay, now a roundhouse into a side kick, again, my body sets up naturally for the side kick. If I throw the roundhouse kick, okay, they're going to probably block it, unless I'm really good, and I get it in there, okay? I throw the roundhouse kick, come down sideways. Now I'll probably be closer to him again, so I have to chamber that kick, and then throw the side kick in, all right? So the roundhouse, again, I'm changing directions. I'm coming around from the side, and then kicking straight in. And again, watching the hands, keeping the hands set. All right, this backhand's got to stay up. I throw that roundhouse kick, this hand will drop out here, and then I throw the side kick, and then right down. Okay, so a couple combinations, very common. Fake front into the round, and then around into the side. Now, most often when we kick and punch, we punch and then throw the kick. Okay, sometimes it helps to throw the kick and then a punch, because usually after you kick, the person thinks you're all done. But again, if I'm keeping my hands set all the time, and watch this, okay, I'll throw the punch, I'm going to throw the kick, but as soon as I throw the kick, I will bring this hand back ready to punch, okay? And then I come down to punch. Actually, that was a fake kick. I actually didn't really throw the kick, all right? So I'm going to punch. They may back up a little bit, okay? As I kick, I bring this hand back and then come right in with the punch. And what adds power to this, of course, is I'm stepping forward and moving in. But along with that, I'm also pulling my hand back, like always, that rule. If I want to give another punch, I'm set. So actually, I'm kicking and then punching, all right? So I kick, set the hand, punch front hand, and then come in with the backhand. Okay, a lot of people don't do that, okay? Roundhouse would probably be a reverse punch, okay, because you're set for that. Again, seeing how the body's set up. I throw the roundhouse kick, come down, and then I'm all set for the reverse punch, because my balance, okay, allows my body to turn and deliver power off the backhand. So I throw the roundhouse kick, come down, bang, and then reverse punch. Same thing. Okay, roundhouse kick, come down, reverse punch. So, kicking first and then punching, most people don't do that. Okay, Good basic strategy. Now, we have a wise old saying, okay, I think it's thousands of years old, where we say, you have to sell the hands before they buy the feet. Actually, it's not 1,000 years old. I made it up a few years ago. What means you have to sell the hands, okay? You got to convince them that you're using hands. If I'm punching, punch, bang, and then throw the side kick, ooh, wow, they just bought it, okay? Because they're concentrating on my hands. So setting up those kicks means good hand techniques, good work with your hands, so it comes unaware. So you're moving, sliding in, getting in close, okay, with the hand. Okay, again, that knee is gonna pull back, working here, bang, and then the side kick comes in. Same thing with the front kick. We're working in tight. You're thinking hands, I'm coming all over, working to the side a little bit, cock that knee in a little bit, and then front kick to the body. Okay, most important, we talk about this all the time. I always talk about the Frankenstein syndrome. Everybody walking around like this. Okay, we used to do that in the old days a lot. Just walk around. Okay, come on. Well, okay, that's good in a dojo when you know your partner is what they're doing, and it's good for toughening up your body. But in reality, when you don't know what's going on out there, and even more so if the person has a weapon, and nowadays, more than likely they will, you stand there like this, and it's a knife he's coming at you with and not a punch, this isn't really a good strategy. So it's always important to keep moving. Okay, I come back to the big three again. Hands up, feet apart, knees bent, and always moving. Now, it doesn't mean like you have to be Muhammad Ali, coming around here and dancing. To be honest with you, that's pretty tiring. But it does mean you have to have some kind of motion. Always talk about get your motor running, head out on the highway. Okay, it's just like if you're at a dead stop, and then you have to move, it's hard to do. Just like in the winter, if you get in your car, turn it on, try to get out, okay, you might have some trouble getting it moving. You gotta warm it up. When your body's moving, it's much easier to react once it's already in motion. So a couple of things you have to do, again, basic rule, always, if nothing else, when you spar, think about moving the directional foot. Okay, I always want to keep my feet about shoulder width. So if I'm going like this, it's no good. I'm not balanced up with my feet together. Okay, and certainly, I don't want to go like this. I don't want to crush. If he happens to throw a punch in the middle of that move, or I see an opening in the middle of that move, I can't react. You want your strategies to be, no matter when it happens, I'm ready. Ooh, if he kicks, I'm ready. Ooh, there's an opening. I can slide in a little bit and throw a punch. So always knees bent, feet apart, and always keeping that stance shoulder width. And what you do, if you move forward, you lengthen the stance and bring the back leg up to shoulder width. If I'm widening the stance, I widen it back to shoulder width. So you're always lengthening or widening, never sliding together, and never crossing your feet. And for goodness sake, never. I kid the juniors sometimes. It looks like they're doing the minute waltz. Okay, you can't be waltzing when you're sparring. Okay, you have to be ready. And it doesn't mean that your feet always have to be sliding across the floor. Sometimes, just body movement or just hand movement. If I'm like this and I reach out with my hand, it gives the illusion that I'm closer to my opponent when I'm really not. My feet are in the same spot. So if I just reach out with my hand or just fake high, maybe I'll just fake high with this hand and then come in with the front kick. So just body movement, upper body movement, okay, forward, back, because you never lean back or tilt, but you go back here to the side, would be this way or this way, and every once in a while you can bob and weave a little bit, drop down and come up, without necessarily even moving the feet, even though you're always on the balls of the feet and ready to react. Okay, we do our basic self-defense from yoi, and ideally, this isn't the best position, okay, to defend from. You kind of always want to be in that basic sparring stance. That's why when we move up a little bit, we get in that self-defense stance, which means you step back in fighting stance, except your hands are open. And that's really the only difference, okay? Okay, I'm not escalating the situation. I'm trying to de-escalate it. If I'm here, okay, that heightens him up. That heightens his resolve. If I go back here, I guess, okay, really doesn't know how to react. Okay, and that element of surprise is all martial arts' best tool. Okay, if I come in aggressive and want to fight, okay, now he's ready for a fight. Sometimes it intimidates him, but if the person's used to fighting, it doesn't mean a thing. But if I'm back here, and I'm calm, and I'm in that good stance, I can react, and they don't know what's on your mind, okay, put some doubt in their mind. And that's exactly what you want to do. And in sparring, the same strategies, that's why sparring is so beautiful. You use those same strategies in sparring. Put doubt in your opponent's mind. Make them not sure what you're going to do. Throw those feints. Act calm. You want to talk about Zen? Okay? Stay calm. That's why it's a beautiful thing to watch senior fighters who've been around a long time. They get in there, and they're really calm, cool, and collected. Okay? Someone without the experience is tight, just like in anything. Whenever you feel a little nervous or afraid, we get tight, and that inhibits all your skills and motions. So, sparring is a whole new world. It opens up things that is more likely what you're liable to face. It builds up your confidence, it builds up your conditioning, builds up your skill. So I hope you had some fun looking into some of these techniques. Take any one of them, or take them all, practice them a little bit, and one at a time. We talked the other day in one of our challenges about being really good at a couple things. Same thing here. You may develop that front kick roundhouse, and you get so good at it that everybody falls for it every time. You drop the hand and you hit him with the roundhouse. Or you're in here close all the time working hands, you pull that leg in and fire that side kick, and you nail them every time. Get good at some skills. And once you start developing some proficiency, add to your repertoire. Okay, this is Sunday again. I'm going to try to go out and enjoy the day a little bit. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you in Zoom classes. Stay well.